Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Hugh Freeze, the Auburn Tigers, wrap up their spring game Saturday afternoon, and we hopped on immediately after and kind of gave some broad takeaways. But after diving back into the game, watching it over a couple of times, I want to circle back and really dive into the true freshmen that Auburn has coming in and kind of talk about what they're going to bring to this Auburn program, really not only in 2024, but over the next couple of years. My first takeaway from that spring game was, yes, this Auburn team in 2024 is going to take a step in the right direction. It is hard to argue against that, but if I'm an Auburn fan, what I'm most excited about is what it looks like over the next couple of years, because this 2024 cycle, we talked about it all summer and all fall long. It is going to be a special group for this Auburn program. Excited to get into it. Before we do it, as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, and it is truly a blast. We talked extensively of Hugh Freeze in this Auburn program on the recruiting trail. Now you get to kind of see it manifest itself on the field. I have a blast talking about it. The amount of support the Auburn fans continue to show to the boys truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this one. I think you have to start with the true freshman Cam Coleman, who, largely stole the show for Auburn. Two things I want to talk about with Cam Coleman is, one, Cam Coleman brings just a special talent, and God don't make many Cam Colemans, and you kind of saw that on Saturday. But what I really want to dive into is what Cam Coleman brings to this offense on a little bit of a larger scale, where you look at one of the biggest flaws in this Auburn offense in 2023 was they couldn't really access the deeper third in that passing attack, right? And yes, there was some problems with the quarterback play. There's no question about that. But you look at that Auburn team in 2023, there really wasn't a wide receiver that injected much fear into opposing defenses attacking that deeper third. Auburn didn't have a Cam Coleman last year who could go make plays down the field. And Cam Coleman, as a true freshman, is going to bring that kind of player to this Auburn offense. And you dive into the film, there's two things that I really want to dive into with Cam Coleman. And the first rep we see is, him winning down the field, him just being a special wide receiver. But more importantly, you take a look at what Auburn's throwing at this Auburn defense is throwing at this Auburn offense, very similar to the looks that we saw a lot of defenses give Auburn in 2023, where, hey, we're not afraid of what you can do attacking the deeper third. So we're going to put a lot of bodies in the box, not only to stop the run game, but to take away that short and intermediate passing lanes for this Auburn offense as well. You see that safety on the far side over Cam Coleman cheating inside the box. Essentially, you're seeing an 8-man box against this Auburn offense. Auburn last year didn't have a wide receiver that, when you saw this look, said, all right, we are going to go to that guy and try to hit an explosive play. This year for Auburn in 2024, that guy's going to be Cam Coleman. And you run the film here. Obviously, you got to see the safety at the top of your screen, cheating in, first steps inside. Cam Coleman, phenomenal release. We know what he can do working down the field. And again, just tracking the football, being a special athlete. That's the first thing that Cam Coleman's going to bring, is if opposing defenses want to scrunch down on this Auburn offense, they are going to have to pay in 2024 with a guy like Cam Coleman, maybe even Perry Thompson when he gets in. You go back to 2023, they got a lot of defenses got away with those kind of looks because there was not a wide receiver that could win vertically down the field. Now, the next thing that you kind of see with Cam Coleman is, all right, if Cam Coleman is going to beat us down the field, you see him working as that second wide receiver from the boundary at the bottom of your screen. Cam Coleman makes defenses respect what they can do down the field. You see this look where, hey, we're going to play our two high safeties, and we're going to respect what Cam Coleman can do attacking the deeper third. That's going to open it up for other Auburn wide receivers too. This Auburn offense wants to be predicated on getting the football to its playmakers in space. It was really hard to do that last year when you didn't have a guy that could stretch the field and really threaten defense attacking that deeper third. You roll the film here. Where's this first safety step? We are bailing out. We're playing, it looks like what might be a cover three. How much space does that create for Auburn trying to get it kind of in the short intermediate route trees? Throw a little bubble screen here too. One, Cam Coleman doing a nice job as a true freshman getting the block in. But more importantly, you look at all that space that Auburn's able to manufacture for those short intermediate route concepts. that Cam Coleman, I really think, allows Auburn to have, right? And you take a look, get a nice little chunk play off a little bubble screen. That's the value that I really think Cam Coleman is going to bring to this Auburn offense, where they just didn't have many of that last year. And you take a look at what that would look like last year, you'd probably see that safety triggering downhill, the defensive backs kind of scrunching down. Those screens, those short intermediate route concepts wouldn't have as much success last year because, again, defenses were kind of keyed in on it. They can't be keyed in on it as much when you have a guy like Cam Coleman in this offense. Now, the next guy I want to talk about, and for the long-time Auburn Tiger fans who've been listening for a while know that Cam Coleman was the crown jewel of this class. But if there's another guy that is just not getting talked enough about, that is Umar Williams, who ended up being a 5-star in the 2024 cycle. Really excited about what Umar Williams is going to bring to the table for two reasons. One of our questions for this Auburn program, our biggest question, was, all right, can Auburn push the ball down the field, hit more explosive plays in that passing attack? You kind of get your answer with Cam Coleman there. I think they will be able to. But the second question was, what does the depth look like on the defensive line for Auburn? And a lot of those questions were, all right, are guys like Malik Blockton, Amaris Williams, Jamonte Waller, are they going to be ready to provide that depth for this Auburn program? And I think we got a little bit of our answer on Saturday. Amaris Williams, just so physically gifted. You see him working at the bottom of your screen as that defensive end. You roll the film here. The power that Amaris Williams has in his hands, we talked about this coming out of high school. This tight, I'm going to try to hit a little bit of a reach block on Amaris Williams, number 10 here, blows it up. I mean, it is so hard to establish the run. This Auburn defense, I thought, did a very good job bottling up Auburn's rushing attack and the spring game. And I'm not too worried about the Auburn offensive line. I think that's going to be a pretty strong unit. But you look at Amaris Williams just showing the physicality that he has to get in the backfield and be disruptive. You take a look at another one working against Seth Willard at that right tackle spot. We're going to try to run a little bit of a stretch zone concept here to Amaris Williams' side. Look at Amaris Williams, the power that he has in his hands to really just knock Seth Wilford right off the block or right off the point of attack here. And again, you're trying to manufacture rushing yards with a guy like Amaris Williams, who showed as a guy that should be a senior in high school going to prom that he is kind of manhandling offensive tackles at the collegiate level. Amaris Williams, extremely impressive. Didn't necessarily come and make some of those really flashy plays for Auburn during the spring game. But for me, what he showed was a guy that you can rely on from a physicality standpoint to provide depth and playmaking ability on that defensive line. A big question that we had. Now, to work through and just kind of hit on some other true freshmen that I thought played some really good football. You didn't see a ton from Bryce Kane. you saw Walker White, and we said this, Walker White probably not going to be the starter for Auburn in 2024. You go back and watch Walker White, though, it looks different, the football coming out of his hands. There's not a throw that Walker White cannot make. And so you look at maybe not 2024 for Walker White. We talk about Walker White, Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, Bryce Kane in 2025 and in 2026. That's what really excites you for this Auburn program. And then you look on the defensive side of the football, and again, a lot of the media hype, if you will, went to what Hugh Freeze did, bringing in offensive talent, right? Perry Thompson, Cam Coleman, Walker White. I was really impressed with what Hugh Freeze did on the defensive side of the football in that 2024 cycle. We talked about Amaris Williams. Malik Blockton looks like a guy that can play early as a true freshman. Jamonte Waller, you saw maybe struggle a little bit with the physicality. He's a guy that maybe will need a year of seasoning, but again, he's got all summer and all fall camp to kind of get right. He's putting on the weight, I believe, up to 247 pounds. We're not quite sure if he's going to be a guy for Auburn, but you saw him have some good reps. Another guy that I thought was phenomenal was DJ Barber at that linebacker spot. He looks like he might be entrenched at that two deep. Phenomenal instincts, made a lot of plays. Thought you saw a lot of good things from Joe Phillips too, who was kind of moving around, played a little off ball, played a lot coming off the edge as well. Thought you looked at a lot of these true freshmen for this Auburn program in that 2024 cycle on the defensive side of the football really show that they can provide a lot of playmaking in depth to this Auburn defense heading into 2024, which was one of our big questions. Was you look at Auburn and what they want to do. One of the questions that we had was, what does the depth of this team look like? And I think a lot of these true freshmen in 2024 are going to provide a lot more depth than we thought they would as true freshmen. Really excited about the young talent that Auburn has coming up. And again, you're going to see the benefits of it in 2024. Guys like Umar Williams, Cam Coleman, they are going to be contributors. But you take a look at 2025, 2026, some special players over the next couple of years. That's what excites me the most if I'm an Auburn Tiger fan. I thought you saw really exactly what you wanted to see from that spring game. A lot of positivity heading into fall camp and that 2024 season. Appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. Again, this program's been a blast for me to talk about. All the support from the Auburn fans truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.